Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome. Today I am working with the 3D birthday pop-up. It's kind of a cake shape. It's round, but I think you could use it to fill it with a lot of other things. But I think it's called like the birthday box, maybe. Yes, birthday pop-up card is its technical name. And I purchased this from mydiamondpress.net is their new website. And you get a ton of stuff. There are 3 stamp sets in this one, and they are beautiful. There's some florals. There are also a bunch of sentiments. There's a banner, a candle that you can make. There are some strawberries in here, and then some, just like I said, tons of sentiments that you can use to decorate with. There are some stencils included in this. Let's open these up and see what they are. I'm just going to try and use my paper here so you can see them. The first one is basket weave, stripes. We've got cake layers, and then sprinkles. So very cute. And then there are a ton of dies on here that you can see. These are for the Grand Marquise, so the larger die cutting machine. All right, so you're going to begin. I'm going to try and follow these instructions, but you're going to have a card base that's 5x7 is the first step. And if you purchase this, you've got color instructions, and then they're kind of the 2 main dies, the circle pop-up and the embellishment base. And the instructions are to cut 2 of those. So I'm using a light pink cardstock here to cut these out, and then I can get started on this. I wasn't really sure exactly what color scheme I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do this lighter pink. And I had 1 piece left. I need to find some more of this color. It's this very light color cardstock, and I'm almost out, so I was using every little inch of this piece to get the 2, and I was able to get the 2 pieces that I needed out of 1 piece of cardstock. And I did make a mistake at some point, and so I had to cut another one of the little, I'm going to call it like the T shape is what it looks like, and so I barely was able to get it done, but I did end up with enough cardstock. I was going to be sad. I was going to have to change colors, but so that's why you see some pink on my table as well, because I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. But I was definitely feeling the pink today. All right, so I have this cut, and now I'm just showing you there's so many different things you can do. You can do like a flower basket, and there are a bunch of flower elements in here. You can do just tons. I think maybe I saw 3 or 4 different kinds that you could do, and that's just with this set, but you could make this a Halloween theme, and I'm going to do some stenciling in just a second here, but I love the stencil, and I'm just going to pop out there's some little slits in there that I'm going to pop out, and then I'm going to layer this cake layer on here. Years ago, Diamond Press had a cake box, a 3D cake box, and the little cake layer stencil is reminding me of it. I love that set. I have made many pieces of cake, so in keeping with that theme, this one is just going to be able to pop up inside your card, which I think is very, very fun. And again, I'm getting off track here, but you can do any theme you want to, basically. You could do a Halloween theme, you could do Christmas and fill it, you could do a Valentine's and fill it full of hearts. I mean, there's just a bunch of things you could do, mixing and matching in your previous Diamond Press products. That's what I love about these interactive ones, because a lot of times you can pair them with another set that you've had, and then you can make even more things. So that's just really smart on their part. All right, I'm going to be using some Diamond Press ink on this one. I've got taffy, which I think is from, I don't know if it's from the reds or the oranges, but I'll link it in the description. It's from one of their, I just don't remember which color theme it is. But that's taffy, and I'm just going to repeat this process on both of my sides of my, whatever this is going to be, the box. And so I'm just going to lay the second one down here and stencil that one out. And that will be it for what I'm going to do for this part. And again, you can do, there are a bunch of different options and pieces that you can die cut. I wish I had shown you. One of these days in my videos, I'm going to start die cutting everything before I video, because I want you to see what all you get in these sets. You just get so much stuff, but a lot of times I'm just literally opening them up and then making something. So I didn't take the time to do that. But I really need to be more intentional because I think that you don't really get the flavor for how much stuff you get in their sets. They're just incredible. I did a recent video with the the mailbox, 3D mailbox set, and it has a ton of stuff in it too. I just made the mailbox, but again, there's just so many things included that there are just tons of possibilities. And that's just one of the main things I always appreciate from Diamond Press is how much stuff they give you and how much you can use it for. All right, so I've moved on to Ocean here, and I was going to do maybe a multi-color sprinkles, and then I just decided I wanted to keep it one color. But you could use a bunch of different colors and make it kind of a fun pattern, a trio of colors maybe of sprinkles. And I'm curious, do you like sprinkles on your cupcakes? This is kind of like the candy cane hot topic. When the day I'm filming this is Halloween. And so I have candy corn on my mind, although I've not had any this year. But I always ask about candy corn, and people either love it or don't love it. And I'm curious about sprinkles because I have mixed feelings about sprinkles too. They're not my favorite topper on a cupcake. But in a paper project like this, bring it on. The more sprinkles, the better. And I could see using some texture paste with this or glitter paste with this. Would be really fun too to make your sprinkles. So again, completely customizable. And I'm just looking at some more of the options that we have, and now we are going to get putting this together. All right, so it says to flip it over, and you can see there's a little fold tab at the end, so my picture of the A matches, so I'm pretty confident I'm going in the right direction. And again, this is the very first time I've ever made it, so I could make a mistake easily. There's a little tab here that I'm going to put some glue on and make sure I've got it the right direction, and because it looks like I'm going to seal this up. And so I'm going to close this in, and then I'm just trying not to have too much glue. You know, I'm an over gluer in that I let the glue get everywhere, and because I always want it to be really secure. And I'm going to let that dry under a block, and then I'm going to repeat this process with the other one. So you're going to fold that tab in. I think initially I was going to fold it out, but it's going to go in is what I'm following if I'm looking at the instructions correctly. So I'm going to just wipe that off a little bit, and then I will let that piece dry as well. Okay, so we've got it coming together. Not exactly sure where we're going. But next is the little embellishment, little cutout. You're going to fold that up, and then you flip it over. This is a little bit tricky. In my first one, I think probably got a little glue somewhere, and I'm just trying to make sure I have this correct. So I've got that little T shape. I've folded the tab up. I've got the glue in the front. You can see there's a little bit of glue. I'm going to kind of pop this out a little bit, and it tells you to slide it down into place and where you can't go anymore, and then you just press it down. And I'm just opening it up, sneaking a peek to make sure that it's not gluing where it's not supposed to. So it's going to glue to the front of that. All right, and I'm going to do it again, so hopefully you can see that. I probably should have done, usually I do what I call a prototype with this, or a rough draft, so to speak, of trying to try this out and see if it works. But this one I just opened up right away, and I'm just going to make sure my tab is folded down. But anyway, if I'd done that, I would have done it a different color so you could really see it better. So hopefully you can see that you're going to press that in, and that tab will go at the front where the stenciled side is. I'm assuming that's going to allow it to open and close. I've got some little strips here for the banner. There's a little die that has a couple of strips that cut kind of like the little toothpicks, if you will. If you take toothpicks and you put a little banner on them for a cupcake or something, that's what I'm thinking of. And then there is a stamp for the banner, and it's in a couple of pieces. I'm just trying to find it. There are also some cherries, I think, in this set too. So cherries and strawberries. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. And then you can make all these cards as well, in addition to making a 3D project. I'm going to use some more of the ocean ink here, ink this up for my banner. And I'm going to give it a second press. And then I've got some good coverage there. All right. And then I can move to the little tails. I'm going to do them. You could keep them the same color if you wanted, or you could change your color. And I'm really being intentional about cleaning off my stamps. It's not the new year yet, but I'm trying to make a resolution when I do videos to actually clean up as I go, because my craft room is just such a disaster area and I lose stuff all the time, and I'm just really trying to turn over a new leaf a little earlier and clean as I go. So you'll see a little bit more maybe of that in videos where I'm just going to leave it in so you can see that I'm trying to hold myself accountable. All right, so I'm going to do the second, the two of those, and I'm just going to wipe this down and look at that beautiful banner. It's like 3D, so fun and so easy, just easy stamping. And then you could mass produce these. Just put some more die cuts, pull it out of the little, I already have a shape, you know, the space behind the negative, right, where there's no space. So put a new banner in there, and then you can just keep stamping these. I'm going to put a happy birthday sentiment. I'm going to switch to black ink here so that I can see it in my little birthday cake. All right, and the font is really cute with this too. And you could use these with other you know, projects and stuff for sure. You could use just the banner if you wanted to. So again, lots and lots of versatility. Very cute. And you could use this on your own to, you know, decorate a real cupcake if you wanted to. All right. So I've got my banner here. I'm going to put my stamp back in place. And so I've got the little sticks here to create my little banner that I could insert into my cake, so to speak. And I'm just going to add these on the side to each of these, and they're going to kind of come in a little bit like they do in real life, I think is the intention. You could do them straight up and down if you wanted to, but I'm just going to kind of set these at an angle that kind of matches where the banner folds in. All right, just got a little bit of glue. I'm going to try and match those up fairly even, just using my eye here, the eye test, and then I will let that dry. All right, so how cute. And then next I have cut the frosting, and the instructions, I don't think I showed this, but I stamped one side, and then they give you an additional stamp, which is so clever, that is the opposite side. So you just flip your frosting over and you will have the other side decorated. So since this cake is going to be 360 degrees, you can turn it all the way around if you want. It allows you to finish the back if you choose. So the front and back are covered. All right, so now I've got a lot of pieces here to begin. I think I'm ready to start assembling this together. So I'm looking at my instruction. The first thing is I'm going to put any frosting or little elements in there, but it's telling you to put it below the score line. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's a little bit of a score line right there where I just ran my finger. They want you to put the elements below that because the other stuff, you want it to move. So I'm just being really careful, making sure that I did not add too much glue, that I'm keeping it well below that crease mark so that it will move. And I'm going to lift this up. I'm kind of looking at the picture. The picture is very helpful, especially on the first time that you do these, trying to make it look like the picture in terms of the placement of it, so that it will show up and I get, you know, the thing that I want. Next step here is to add a gracious amount of glue below that score line, and I'm just keeping it. I know it's going to push up a little more, so I'm just going to leave a little edge below so that as I press the paper together back to back here, so you're going to have the two pattern pieces, I'm going to call them, are opposite each other. I'm going to make sure that these are at the same level. You will notice that there's a little tab on each end hanging off, and from what it looks like, this is going to fold together. Each little tab is going to fold in, and then it will glue on to the back of it. So this will give us our rounded cake, and I'm just kind of pressing that in, and then I will add some glue. And you want to let this dry really, really well. Moving forward, all of these pieces you're going to want to let dry really well. I don't know about using redline adhesive or super strong adhesive. I assume it would work. I just really I say this in all of my 3D videos, I just have had a lot more success using liquid adhesive. When it wets that fiber and you let it dry appropriately, it really holds pretty well in most cases. Occasionally there's just a challenging, design that you just can't really get it to hold and you've got to have some tape. But the liquid glue really does a lot of good. And then I'm going to take my frosting here and I'm just going to glue this directly. I'm just kind of following the picture. It's going to go above the cake layer, which is so cute. And then I'm just going to press that even and we'll see what we get. Okay. All right. So that is the main worker part of this cake. And then I am going to add a bunch of glue. Now I'm just kind of testing it. I want to see what this is supposed to do. So I'm just kind of gently pushing and you can see it looks like it is working fairly well. And so I'm happy that it looks like I did it the right direction. I've done these before where I've had them completely backwards and this one looks correct. All right, so I have my cake ready to insert. You're going to add a ton of glue to the bottom of this. And again, I'm just going to watch my top not get too high up because that glue is a liquid. It's going to press up. So I'm going to hopefully not get the cake part stuck down. You really just want that round, half round piece in there. All right, and this I am going to truss. This one I kind of open it and I moved it into place because when I closed it, it kind of pushed it. And then so I was going to leave it there, but I'm gonna do what it says. I'm going to push this back into place up against there, and then I am going to add that glue to the other side. That's the next instruction because I want it to open up. So we will see what we get. Again, just a really good amount of glue. And then I am definitely going to let this dry for a while because this is such a large section to open. I really want it very stuck to there. Okay, so I'm just looking over to see what else, and I want to sneak a peek. I'm just really looking to see that the paper didn't stick, and it has dried, completely dry here for a decent amount of time, and I'm just going to press this down, and I'm going to kind of work the paper a little bit. I want to bend this card, but I'm being a little gentle. I think it needs me to kind of work it a little bit to work on getting it into position, popping it up. Because once you push it all the way open, it sets up nicely. And I'm just kind of playing with it here, and it is super cute. And I'm just going to keep pressing that down, working that in. And you can see that we have a little cake with the icing and the banner in the top. Look at that, how cute. So your recipient, when they get it and they open it up all the way, they're going to have a full cake in their card. All right, very, very cute. So again, I'm just kind of working it a little bit more. I want this to set up and hopefully stand up when the recipient opens it. Okay, so I am pretty happy with how that turned out. It actually was really pretty easy overall, and I just can't help but think of all of the possibilities. Now, I did take a moment, I stamped a front using several of those stamps from the set. I used the little center of the flowers for my little yellow spots instead of doing any kind of embellishment. I did come back and stamp and die cut the little icing. I don't know, or frosting, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go, but that's how I did it. It has kind of a little tab, and so I ran that around the inside because I thought it looked really cute. I did it around the whole thing, and then I added some flowers in there, and I stenciled some of the basket weave on there. So again, you can fill it as much or as little as you want, but I definitely wanted to have the flowers on there as well, and I am super happy. It's just so cute and so many possibilities. So leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this. Sending a 3D cake through the mail, I think is very fun, and you can completely customize it. So thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.